Good afternoon, folks. This is Fred Campos, owner of DFW Website Designers. It is Thursday, February 4th, and I am so excited. This is episode number 100 of our 3 business tips at 3 o'clock in 3 minutes. Seeing how this is my 100th episode, I want to do something totally different. We're going to talk about the 3 most important topics that I would talk about with a new business, a solopreneur, entrepreneur, and I'm going to talk for 3 minutes about each of those topics. So this is going to be a 9-minute episode. But if you have been joining with me, believe it or not, over these last 100 days, we have talked about 300 different small business ideas to help improve your business. And we've gotten this by me listening to you guys as I interact with you as a web designer with about 321 different small businesses. I get to see what works and what doesn't work. I steal ideas from you. You educate me ideas. Sometimes I share back ideas. But if I was sitting down with a brand new business, these are the 3 things I would want to emphasize more than anything that I think would really help a new business or an existing small business take it to the next level, right? Because we always want to be improving our business and revenue and the way we operate and the way we act. So here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about spending money on marketing. We're going to talk about touch points. And we're going to talk about doing follow-ups. So spending money on marketing. I work with mainly solopreneurs or small businesses that probably have less than 10 employees. Now, I have businesses that are greater than that, but that is my sweet spot. That's the spot that I play in. It's very important that you know who your clientele is and everything else. In that sweet spot, one of the hardest things that I have to educate and overcome with them is the idea that they should be spending money on their marketing. So here's the first thing I want to tell you, and it's going to hurt. You should be spending 5 to 10% of your gross revenue on your marketing. Now, I hear it all the time. And they have a misconceived idea, even in the website business. They said, oh, if I was on page 1 of Google, I wouldn't have to do that. So let me distill that idea and let me be truthful about this. I'm going to tell you about 3 different customers I have that are on page 1. Myself included. I am on page 1 in about 13 of my keywords. It's taken me 10 years to do that, and it's a lot of work and effort. I figure that being on page 1 yields me a whopping 3 new clients a month. 3. Not enough to sustain my business, even close. Not enough to probably pay for one of my employees or virtual assistants. So I have great organic reach, but yet I personally still spend about $500 to $1,000 on some form of ads, whether that be through Thumbtack or through Google. Now, let me tell you about another client. I have a client who's very successful in the weed control business. He spends tons, $2,000 to $3,000 a month on ads. He has the best organic reach I've ever seen on his website. Tell you about a pest control client of mine. He also has a great organic reach. He spends anywhere up to maybe $3,000 or $4,000 on ads. The point is, even if you're on page 1 of everything you want to be, that doesn't mean that clients are going to buy from you. You need other forms of marketing other than just the most awesome website. Now, obviously, you can get a great website from us. And yes, getting to page 1 helps. But as a 10, 11-year-old business who's on page 1 in 13 elements, it might make up about 15% of our total incoming revenue. So while that is a goal, it's not the end-all be-all, which brings me to my next point about that. Your website and your marketing must have some form of appeal. Just being on page 1 of Google and them hitting your marketing or your website doesn't mean that they're going to buy. And that's the other thing. It's got to be an ease of use and have some sort of call to action. Okay? So let's talk about somebody that generates a lead, whether you paid for it organically, whether you paid for it through PPP or they generated organically, they showed an interest in your business. That doesn't mean it's a sale. So here's my second point that we're going to talk about. It requires touch points. Now, pre-qualified leads, this is going to blow your mind, still requires 5 to 7 touch points. Now, let me clarify that. Somebody comes to my website, they click that they want a website, they fill out a form, and they initiate a call to me, does not on average close and turn into a monetary sale until we've had 5 to 7 interactions. Emails back and forth, quotes back and forth, conversations, webinars. They want to buy from you, but they don't just send you money sight unseen. It's going to require some form of back and forth. And that's what I mean by touch points. Now, get this. That is somebody that wants your service and initiated your business. Dude, you talk about colds. It may take 15 to 25. It may take 3 to 6 months. They may look at a bunch of competitors. So here's the thing. It isn't if you build it, they will come, okay? You don't just put a shingle out there and just line up at the door and open your door for sales. That isn't how it works. Even when you shop at traditional brick and mortar stores, you don't buy every product that you touch. Heck, you can walk into a store and not buy everything, right? You may buy it later. You may buy it on Amazon. You may buy it. People don't buy things instantaneously, whether it be a product or a service. For some reason, I think with online marketing, we seem to think that it's going to be easier or faster or quicker. That just because you have a most awesome website, you have it out there, you pay for PPP or SEO, and people come to your front door and you're listed in 13 of your keywords on page 1, doesn't mean you're going to gain any more business. You're going to have to interact with them. It takes 5 to 7 touch points. You're going to have multiple areas of new business, multiple sources of new business. So I just want to give you a realistic expectation. If I'm asking you to spend 5 to 10% on your marketing, I'm also telling you it's going to take a great deal of effort. If you're a larger organization, you're going to have someone that's in charge of sales full time. And if you're a solopreneur, you're going to have to spend about 1/3 of your time really working the sales portion of it. Point number 3 is that it's going to require aggressive follow-up. Again, we'll use my business as an example. The person initiated a phone call and wanted a website. I do 5 to 7 interactions to get them a quote. I have to hound them to remind them to buy. And it isn't because they don't want my services. We live in a world today that is filled with ADD people who have a million things on their task list to do. All of my clients are like, oh, I'm so glad you continue to call me back. Yes, I've been intending to do this. Yes, let me give you my credit card and buy this right now. They don't, after they receive a quote and say yes to me, go back to their computers, type it in, and buy my services. It happens on occasion, but most of the time they are required to be reminded of it and reminded of it and reminded of it and reminded of it. That is just the world we live in. And that process is called sales. And entrepreneurs, and again, I'm giving you my best advice here. If this was the only video you had to look at about your small business, you are in the sales business, and 1/3 of your waking hours in business is focusing on sales, which requires you to follow up with clients, have touch points, and spend money on all different forms of marketing. Do all of that, and if you listen to nothing else that I've said or that I've learned from my 320 small businesses I've watched and built websites for, that is what I would tell a new person. So there you go. In review, it's really about spending money on your marketing, 5 to 10% of your gross sales. And if you are starting out, that means money out of your pocket that you should be spending on your marketing. Marketing is huge. It's all about touch points. Those clients or potential clients are going to need to be followed up on and touched anywhere from 5 to 7 times if they're coming to you, and 15 to 20 times if you're going to them. And you must have aggressive, and prompt, immediate follow-up with those that show interest in your business. Again, I appreciate you guys hanging with me. We've done this for 100 straight days. We will continue to do this for the rest of the year. I want to be your cheerleader. I want you guys to be awesome. Now go back to sleep.